Mr. Peter Obi has distanced himself from reports that he's backing Charles Soludo, the current Anambra State governor, for a second term. Mr. Peter Obi stated this through Dr. Yunus Atanko, the national coordinator of the Obidient Movement. In a statement, Obi stated that he supports Charles Moghalu, the current Labour Party gubernatorial candidate in Anambra State. The Obidient Movement nationwide, dedicated to promoting good governance, transparency, and the vision of His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi for a new Nigeria, has categorically disowned reports claiming that the movement has endorsed Prof. Chukwuma Soludo for a second term as governor of Anambra State. In an official statement signed by Dr. Yunus Atanko, the national coordinator movement described the claim as fraudulent, unauthorized, and grossly misleading. The Obidient Movement also states that it has not authorized or endorsed or supported any candidate other than Mr. George Moghalu, who was earlier endorsed by His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi for the upcoming Anambra gubernatorial election. Any statements or representations suggesting otherwise are false and should be disregarded by the public, the statements read. He further noted that the movement, that's the Obedient Movement, remains independent, guided by guided solely by its mission to promote integrity, accountability, and people-centered leadership across Nigeria. His support for Peter Obi in 2023 presidential election was based on his proven track record and commitment to national transformation. Therefore, any individual or faction claiming to endorse other candidates does so in a personal capacity and not on behalf of the Obedient Movement. Number three, the movement strongly also condemns the misuse of his name, logo, or identity to advance personal or political interests. Any assertion that the Obedient Movement has endorsed Governor Soludo or any other candidate outside his declared stance is a blatant misrepresentation. The Obedient Movement does not participate in transactional politics or arrangements, and it firmly rejects any attempt to exploit his goodwill for selfish or partisan politics. Now, Mr. Peter Obi is generally loved by the Obedient Movement, and the Obedient Movement is quite ideological in its approach to politics in Nigeria. So, any form of anything that violates their principle of handling issues within the Labour Party, the obedience will normally come out and speak about it in a way that shows their principles and ideology in politics. Now, Mr. Peter Obi has a proven track record and is loved and respected by the obedient movement. Now, Mr. Peter Obi, when he was a governor of Anambra State, had a lot of achievements during his administration. One of the first achievements of Mr. Peter Obi was in education. Peter Obi believed that the greatest investment any government can make was in its people. He rebuilt and equipped over 1,000 schools, returned many schools to the church for better management, and supplied buses, computers, laboratory, and equipment. By the end of his tenure, Anambra had become the number one state in WAEC. Secondly, Mr. Peter Obi did outstanding in finance. At a time when most states were piling up debts, Peter Obi ran a lean government. He cut waste, refused to borrow recklessly, and insisted every naira must be accounted for. By the time he handed over in 2014, Anambra reportedly had over 75 billion naira in cash and investment, including 156 million US dollar saved for the state's future. That's a record still discussed across Nigeria today. Another aspect of his achievement was in healthcare. Obi's government also partnered with mission hospitals like Yenu, St. Charles, and Our Lady of Lourdes to revive healthcare in Anambra State. Anambra even won a 1 million grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as the best performing state in immunization. Those funds built new maternal and childcare centers across rural states. Now, in infrastructures and investments, the Obi administration constructed and rehabilitated over 800 kilometers of road, linking major towns and rural areas. He also attracted private investments like the Sabmila Brewery, creating jobs and boosting state revenue. The security was strengthened as well through community policing and state vigilante. Now, these are some of the reasons why the Obidient Movement supports and respects Peter Obi so much, unlike his counterpart, Charles Soludo. Peter Obi earned the respect of the Obidient youths because they believe he's a man of integrity and very accountable as as a governor. He isn't a regular politician. He's well known for his honesty and also very transparent in his leadership style. When others left debt, he left billions in state treasury. That alone earned him massive respect by so many people that admire and respect him for his level of transparency and accountability in the states. So Peter Obi is not the regular Nigerian politician that we all know that are very corrupt and have cases or issues with the EFCC. So because of that, a lot of youths respect him and they resonate with his political ideology, which is very admirable. Peter Obi has become a subject of attacks by opposition party on consistent basis on social media. There's been a lot of misinformation and propaganda about him which circulates daily and it is amplified by APC aligned media. Fake stories about his intentions, corruption allegations, and also manipulated audio clips often dominate online conversations. Yet, Peter Obi has remained calm, responding not with insult but with logic, facts, and a vision for a new Nigeria, the Obedient Movement, a youth driven campaign advocating for accountability. And in that platform, Peter Obi is highly respected. So many of such attacks are not just political, they are also psychological. The aim is to weaken his image, divide his supporters, and distract the public from substantive issues. At the end of the day, the consistent attacks on Peter Obi reflect one undeniable truth. He is a force to be reckoned with. And while critics try to diminish him, his message of competence, integrity, and youth empowerment continues to resonate with millions across Nigeria. Unlike his counterpart, Mr. Charles Soludo, who has had an underwhelming 4 years first tenure in Anambra State, Mr. Charles Soludo falls short in infrastructure development in Anambra State. Soludo vowed to modernize roads and build flyovers to ease transportation. Yet, major roads in Oka, Onitsha, and Nnewi remains potholed, congested, and in poor condition. Residents continue to struggle with traffic and accidents, raising questions about the effectiveness of his road projects. Second, his unfinished buildings and hospitals. Incomplete public health schools, hospitals, and housing projects initiated under Soludo have either stalled or remained partially finished. The public wonders why promises of quality education and healthcare haven't translated into tangible results. Mr. Soludo is only known for attacking Mr. Peter Obi all the time. Economically, the state citizens feel the pain of Charles Soludo's economic policies. While Soludo has been praised for macroeconomic planning, ordinary citizens face rising cost of living, limited job opportunities, and little support for small businesses. Critics argue that his administration has focused more on grand financial schemes than grassroots economic empowerment. Another major concern is poor communication and engagement with the public. Citizens often feel ignored, with many claiming that government policies are top down and unresponsive to local needs. Social media is full of complaints about lack of transparency and accountability of his government. Now, there's also be issues with environmental waste and flooding. Soludo also has been criticized for environmental neglect. Flooding, poor waste management, and erosion issues persist across Anambra State. Despite promises of sustainable development programs, residents continue to face daily hardships caused by these unresolved problems. Finally, political infighting and controversies have made its tenures. Allegations of favoritism, delays in appointment, and conflicts with local leaders have undermined governance, causing public distrust and slowing implementation of key policies. Now, it is quite understanding that Charles Soludo came into office with a vision to transform Anambra State, but with stalled projects, unmet promises, and rising public frustration, many people believe that the results fall short of expectations. Only time will tell if the governor can turn this criticism into action and restore public confidence. So I'm not surprised when he's seeking validation and endorsement of Peter Obi and the Obidient Party and the Obidient Movement and Labour Party. This is because he feels he can leverage on Peter Obi's growing popularity among Anambra indigenes to enhance his chances of becoming the governor of Anambra State for the second term. Well, will all these shenanigans lead to him clinching the second term tickets for Anambra State? Please comment. Let's hear your view about this. Thank you.